Hey everyone, today we're going to do the obligatory introduction to object-oriented programming. And to begin with, I'd like to ask you to think about your favorite video game or application, and it could be Lazarus in this instance. And if it were a game, then behind the scenes, the characters, the menus, the data, the enemies, your non-playing characters, etc. Or if it were Lazarus, then you've got t-edit controls, you've got pop-up menus, memo fields, and so on, date controls. These are all built upon blueprints, which we call classes, which are foundational to object-oriented programs. So that's what we're going to talk about today, because they enable you to make your programs, let's say, organized, reusable, and powerful. So you can think of the classes, as building blocks on which you can craft wonderful applications. And by the end of this video, look, I'm hoping you'll understand what a class is, its structure, the components and variables and so on work within it, and go from there, shall we? So, first of all, I want you to, we've got for the sake of this demonstration here, I've got a person as a class, and by itself, it's just a blueprint for an object. So I could define let's say person 1 as a type T person. Or if I were to have a robot, I could tell the robot to pick up something. I could tell the robot to move to the other end of the room, say. These are actions which we can perform upon that object, and associated with that robot we would have some data, like how much battery power does it have if it runs on batteries, or what's the temperature, and things like that. So that is what we can put into a class. And as I said here, we've got we're going to be using a person here. So what we look at, or what we can see when we look at a class, in this case here, like I said, we're talking about a person. We've got fields, we've got methods, we have a constructor, and we have properties. So we've got the fields here, which could be otherwise described as attributes. These are, in this case here, we've got private and a protected one. This is the data which is stored within the person class here. We have a method, and a method is a procedure or a function or something which we can ask or tell the class to do. So we're going to tell it to, ask it to display some information. Next we have the constructor, and the constructor is used to initialize the object when it gets used. So if we can look down, if we just jump down here in the example, when we are creating the person, we're going to tell it its name, its age, and email address. So because you have to remember also that classes in the world of Pascal live within the heap, and as a result are dynamic, and so don't have memory leaks. Then you need to free them once they're used. I'll probably say that nearly every video about the importance of not having memory leaks in your programs. Lastly, we have a couple of properties in the program, and you can see here we've got name and age. Now a property has a getter and a setter. So like we can read the age and we can write the age. These could be wrapped up in, let's say functions or procedures, depending on the level of complexity of the change itself. But in this instance here, we can put in just the data that's going to be modified as a result of changing the property. The next thing to note about a class is the how we can control visibility through access specifiers. So here we've got private, protected, public, and published. So something which is declared as private can only be accessed from within the class itself. From outside the class it cannot be used, only from inside. Whereas something which is declared as being protected can be also can be used within the class, but can also be accessed from a class which inherits from the person class. So for example, I have declared a student class here which inherits from the T-person class. While I haven't expanded it out, I can access femail as a that attribute or that field, and change it accordingly. Variables or fields and methods, etc., declared in the public section can be accessed from anywhere from outside of the class. So here you can see in the program here, I call the constructor. I ask to tell it to display the name. That's because the these methods and the constructor are part of the public section. And finally, with the published keyword, it's like metadata that can be used by an object inspector, and more so if we were to make it into a component that you could see within the object inspector then. But again, here you can see that I can change the name of the person here. In this case, change from Tim to Bob, and I'm accessing it through the property here, and that will cause it to write to there. So what we're going to do now is to, while you've sort of seen some of the code here that's used within the class, what we're looking at here is just the definition. We need to provide some code for the methods and the constructor. So if you had declared or just had written out that part of the class and then pressed Control Shift and C, you would wind up with a couple of empty, let's call them functions as a generic term, with nothing in them. And what we're going to do then is to add this code here and here into the program. So when we ask it to display the information, it will just do a write line of it, the person's name, their age, and their email address. The constructor then basically sets the name, age, and email address based on the parameters that are being passed in. The other thing you'll note here is that the type, the person, is prefixed by the letter T, the fields are prefixed by the letter F, and the parameters to the constructor are prefixed by the letter A. This is purely a style guide thing, I'll just call it. It just makes it easier to know whether you're looking at, let's say, a parameter or a field or whatever. The other thing also is I can put self in here as well as the identifier, and self will then refer to the method or the variable or the property within the class. So we'll just take that out again. So what we will do now is we're going to now run the program, but I'm just going to comment out the last 2 lines here. And now we're going to build it. Let's go home maybe. So here in the first instance, you can see that it output my name, my age, and the email address. And that's just done by calling the constructor and the display info call. So what we're going to do now is, like I said, this is on the heap, and so I should have, let's say here, p.free. And you will see now that by using the published property that I can actually change the name of the person here. So we're going to build it again. I think that's done. That was very quick if it was. Yes, and now you can see that the name and the age in the first line. And you can also see in the second line now that the name has changed. So what happens is it's gone into here, gone into the setter, and shows the name. Whereas if I do something like, let's say here, n is of type string, and if I did, let's say here, n equal or is assigned, and we're just going to copy this part here, and then we'll go down to here, right line n, and we're just going to build it again one more time. And here you can see that it just writes out Bob. So in this particular instance here, so whereas the write WRITE, the setter gets used here, in this instance here the getter is used to get the name from the person, and that gets assigned into n, which I could then print out. So like I said, we're not going in this particular video, we're not going into any great detail where we talk about things like, we're not going to go any deeper into inheritance or overriding functions or methods or things like that, and that will come in a later video after this one. So I hope you got something useful out of this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this with your friends, and until next time, happy coding, and I'll see you then. Bye.